Good morning, this is Gayle Palmer from the Living Elements Clinic here, the Osteopath in Sidlesham. So this week is Breathe Easy Week, and it's being run by the National Lung Foundation, which is the largest and maybe the only lung charity in the UK specifically related to all sorts of lung conditions and helping people to know how to survive and live with their lung conditions, and doing massive amounts of research into those as well. They spend over £2 million a year doing lung research, and it's a really important area of life. I don't know about you, but I take a breath a couple of times a minute. You probably do too, and it's extraordinary if you find you can't breathe properly, or you're stopped from breathing, or even you have to hold your breath, how quickly you feel like panicking, get really anxious and worried. Now imagine if you felt that a lot of the time. Imagine if that was you all of the time. So there are a whole variety of lung conditions that you can have. Some are considerably more common than others. COPD, chronic obstructive disorder, cystic fibrosis, where you get a lot of phlegm in your lungs, asthma, of course, pulmonary fibrosis, where the lungs get very stiff and aren't able to move properly, so they can't breathe properly. So all of those things are common, and to a certain extent osteopaths and other health professionals are able to do things to help the function and help the breathing. But you can also do a whole load of things to help yourself. And everybody can do this, whether you have a lung condition or not. Do you know what? We all need to breathe air all of the time, and that's why I'm doing this video outside. You can probably hear the birds are singing. It has rained heavily. The air is thick with moisture. It's very humid, but it's warm, and it is very clean air today. It's been properly washed through. So if you have a lung condition, this actually is really good conditions to be breathing in. One of the things that people don't realise is, in order to take in oxygen, not only do your lungs have to work, and your throat and your nose, but you also have to be able to dissolve the oxygen from the air into your lungs. So they have to go in through the water in your lungs. So having more humid air does make that a bit easier for you. So if you have very, very dry air, it can be more difficult to breathe. So one of the big and easiest ways to reduce pollution, and that is one of the biggest reasons that people struggle with breathing and their lung function generally, is simple. It's really simple. It's turn off the car engine whenever you have an opportunity that makes sensible to do that. Consider getting an electric car, because obviously that doesn't produce carbon dioxide or other particulates which poison the air for us, and certainly doesn't produce nitrous oxide, which is another big poisoner for the lungs and really stops us able to breathe properly. Did you know that we have an electric car charger here at the clinic, especially for those who do now have electric cars, so you can charge up at the clinic at minimal cost while you're having a treatment. So I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best to look after the environment and help people. Another really simple thing to do isn't car related necessarily, but is to stop using aerosols, particularly in the house, of any description, whether that's for cleaning products, deodorants, furniture sprays, all of that. They contain hydrocarbons and other noxious chemicals which really do a lot of damage to our lungs, and that's a really big problem over time. You will often find people who have lung conditions who do a really good house clean and then wheeze and croak and goodness knows what else because they're unable to breathe properly because of all the chemicals they've now put into the air, which obviously you don't need to do. Other things that you can do: make sure that your general health and diet is as good as you can. So it's all the basics, you know, no point reinventing the wheel. We need good healthy diets. We need to eat good healthy food without chemicals on them, because that increases our problems and the inflammation that goes around our bodies, but particularly in our lungs if you've got a weak area there. Learn how to use your breath and your breathing. So you need to be breathing from down here in your diaphragm rather than up here in your upper chest and neck. If you are able to do that, and there are ways that you can learn to do that, and I can teach you how to do that if you come in for a treatment at the clinic. If you upper chest and throat breathe almost, you increase your anxiety levels. If you breathe with your diaphragm and your lower ribs, you decrease your anxiety levels. And that makes a really big difference to how you feel, your experience of life. So learn how to do some abdominal breathing, and Hatha yoga, which is a breathing type yoga, is very good for helping you to do that, and yoga is generally. So there are about 1 in 5 people in the UK who have lung conditions at some point during their life. That's a really huge number, and unfortunately that number is going to increase. So it all beholds us to really look at and improve how we use our environment, what things we put into the air, how we are able to protect ourselves and our lungs and our life and our children's future. So please take it on, and good luck. Let us know how you get on. Thanks very much. Bye bye.